Welcome
Welcome
to
to
Shade
Shade
and
in
the
the City.
City. I am your girl, Treese.
It snows.
And today we are jumping into our review of Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 5, Episode 13. So if you have not already, Shade Squad, please make sure that you hit that like button and welcome back.
And that subscribe button.
And yes, and welcome all our new viewers as well. And yeah, let's get into it. Let's get shady. And y'all, I told y'all it's really this journey is really getting hard with Kimmi. Okay, I can't keep crying every episode. And then I
I'm
felt
actually glad it wasn't that much in this episode.
right, and I felt a little bad for Martell, just a little bit until but he's Martell. We'll get into it. All right, y'all, let's get into it and let's get shady.
So we are back in Destin. The kids are enjoying their father's company. Also, Miss Vange, they're enjoying her company. She's there now.
Yeah.
Um, Mel says that she's glad that everyone is there and she wanted to be there. Listen here, messy Mel. Okay. That was some shade for that
I don't
ass.
even feel no type of way. Honestly, I really don't even feel no type of way, especially after how Tisha shaded her in that confessional. I don't feel no type of way about what
Yeah,
Mel
but
said.
Mel didn't know about that. Mel ain't know about that. She
Well,
like she was ready though. She had guns blazing. Okay.
right.
So Miss Van checks in with Mel to make sure everything was cool and that, Martell was not out here getting ugly like he was before. And Mel, lets her know that everything's been great. He's up on the second floor and she need her space and she needs to get her energy back and basically they just hadn't had any problems. Everything's been copacetic. But she does mention that Martell invited the Holtz and she don't know how the hell he invited some people to the house when he was invited his damn self.
Mm-hmm.
And she let her know that the relationship with her and Tisha is cordial, but it'll never be back, the way it was before.
Right.
Now
And she's
Marlene,
okay with that.
yeah, we know Mel is quick to cut her off. Okay,
Mm-hmm. It ain't nothing that cut that bitch off.
period. So
Yes.
Marlene and Martell both express how much they love the trip to each other. She even says that this has been the best days of her life. I thought that was cute. I thought that was super sweet. I mean, for you to be on a family trip with your grandkids and your son, and your ex daughter-in-law and stuff, and you say these are like the best days of your life. I thought that was
I thought that was very sweet. I'm gonna give it to her, but I also think that Mel probably had a full wine cabinet. And I think that Miss
Are we
Marlene,
calling her a lush?
absolutely. And I think that as long as Miss Marlene can have a drink, be around her grandkids, and have someone make sure that she is well taken care of, she is always going to be happy. And there's nothing wrong with that. You tell me, yo, just come be with your nieces, unlimited supply of wine. I got a yacht. I'm paying for everything. Which I'll tell you was the best time of my life too. I would always want you to take me on vacation.
You know what?
I'm just, I'm keeping it real,
I don't
okay?
even know why I went down this rabbit hole
I'm
with
just
you.
saying.
I don't.
Did
Why did
we
I
did we
open this can
not
of
did we
worms?
not see the dinner? She could sit there and be nasty with Mel, and still, as long as you're gonna keep buying this food and buying this wine, I'm gonna sit here and talk to you, sweetie. I'm just saying. We saw how fast she went through that bottle of wine when Martell brought it to her. I'm just saying. I know it because I identify with it. Okay.
Well, so Miss Marlene, she basically says that she never expected them all to ever be on a trip again together. Um, And she says how everything went down with the breakup and the divorce and everything, and really broke her heart. So she will cherish these moments that she's having right now forever. She also said little Martell told her that he's super excited and he loves seeing his parents together and getting along. Martell says that he always wants them to be good. Um this shit says go on more chips.
What?
It says go on more chips. No, my on trips. It's supposed to be trips.
Oh,
But all I saw, because I like pick out words and try to figure out what it says. So all I saw was chips, and I was like, what the fuck is this? So okay. So Martell says that he always wants them to be good so that they can go on more trips together. And even when they start dating other people, basically, he's hoping that they'll stay good and respect each other's space. Miss Marlene says, Miss Marlene just reminds him that, he's always got to do what's best for the children.
the
Okay.
children and her
But
and her.
but because no matter who comes into the picture, all right, your children gonna always be there.
Because Sheree ain't keeping the wine cabinet full.
Sheree got a whole stock downstairs in her amazing basement.
I give her that. Oh, speaking of that, Shade Squad, time for the tea. So
nice segue, huh?
right, it was. So guys, allegedly in these Real Housewives of Atlanta, Love and Marriage Huntsville streets, apparently Martell and Sheree have parted ways. That is the word on the street. Apparently, they have unfollowed each other on social media, which.
Please, anyone let me know if you're shocked.
Oh, we know we're not shocked. We knew it was bullshit when it happened. Now, drop down in the comments and let us know whether you believed it was real or not, because I never believed it was real. I thought it was just for publicity, but I guess we'll see. And when I shared the news with Nels, and she was like, oh, and I was like, yeah, I was like, they probably, they stopped filming. I know they were filming Real Housewives since the summer. So maybe they stopped filming and they no longer, need to play pretend. Or some people speculate based off of this most recent episode and seeing how he maybe still was in his feelings about Mel. Maybe that's what caused it. Who knows? All I know is they're no longer following each other. They took all their pictures down of each other, which we don't necessarily know that means they broke up, but in 2022, that means y'all not together no more. So no. And in other news, apparently Ariane got on live this weekend and expressed that, she feels like they need co-parenting classes. She's ready to apparently move out of Huntsville. And she has to show all the missed calls and of course she only does this whenever there's an episode or something that triggers her. And I guess not only was Sheree triggered, but clearly he done triggered poor Coleslaw up out of hiding because she been quiet for a couple months, y'all. Y'all ain't heard me say nothing about her in a while, but she came out of hiding and said her little piece, and it is what it is. But she'll let you know that they ain't together, but he's still blowing up her phone. I don't know, but I just share that little tea with y'all. Now, Mel done rented a yacht, okay, y'all. And it looks amazing. It is beautiful. Martell comes over to compliment her for her choice of boat. And she's like, so you haven't been on a yacht, Martell? And he's like, no. And, she's like, well, welcome. And I said,
Melody Cherie style.
Okay. Period. Now, Martell in confessional lets us know he feels Mel's been throwing jabs.
I didn't feel like that was
time. And the whole time they've been in Destin. Now, just as they're getting ready to go out, a storm rolls in, which we know these struggles. We have this happen to us. And they have to wait it out. Now, Mel is upset because the kids have really been looking forward to this trip. And, she says they'll be devastated if they can't, basically get out on the water. So to get the kids in better spirits, she suggests karaoke and that they sing one of her songs, which that triggers
I felt like that
Martell. And he, Martell takes it in stride. You can see his face. He clearly doesn't like it, but he says, he's come a long way since their Vegas trip. And so he's not going to get into it with her about her song and the kids singing it. However, he feels like, it's just tacky for you to be around here having my kids singing this song about me. It's just really tacky. And Martell, you do a lot of tacky shit. So, all right. Now back in Huntsville, Marsau is working in the yard when Maurice stops by, and Marsau is trying to put him to work, and he lets him know that he's there to talk. He's not there.
He like, I ain't come here for this.
Yeah. So as they go to sit down, Maurice says that, he feels like he's been being so strong for Kimmi. And he doesn't have to be with Marsau. So he trusts him completely. And, they've been through a lot together, obviously. And so he tells him that Kimmi has breast cancer and that it's highly aggressive. And they're being very aggressive with her treatment. Marsau lets him know that Tisha did tell him, but not like that. And he thought it was more uncertain. And you could definitely tell. Can I just say, Carlos King, because apparently there's this whole blackout and people are supposed to be blacking out the show because they're trying to protest Miss Wanda, or where the direction the show is taking, because people feel like it's going more love and hip hop. But in Carlos King's defense, I think, and I know I've seen it in Love and Marriage. I think I know for sure we've seen it in Love and Marriage DC too. Regardless, because you wouldn't want to watch anything without any, I guess you could say, drama. But I love when he can show this positivity, especially amongst Black men, and show them being vulnerable and show them being emotional. And we saw that in Love and Marriage DC with Jamie, his son, and like that whole thing. And I just think that, like, it's beautiful when we can put that in a spotlight versus us jumping across the tables at each other and just real stupid shit, other shit that we could see.
I can appreciate that you got that from that conversation. I mean, I got that as well. But for whatever reason, the entire time I was watching them talk, I just could not for the life of me understand why this wasn't a conversation between the two of them sooner. Because
I definitely thought the same thing. I definitely
they're brothers. Even if it was like a phone call, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey.
Oh, no.
But not even on Maurice's end. Like, not on Maurice's end. My thing was, because if Tisha told you, why do I need to come over and sit down and talk to you to let you know the full details? Why didn't you reach out to me and check on how I'm doing and how my wife is doing?
Well,
that I appreciate that you got that from the conversation, but I'm literally watching the whole entire time. Like, you admitted that Tisha told you, which you would expect her to. She's your wife. They came to her, right?
Right.
And you didn't reach out to be like, hey, Tisha told me the news. If you guys need anything, I'm here. Whatever. Like,
no, that's facts. I mean, what you're saying has valid points, and it doesn't. I didn't think about it like that because obviously the emotion, and like I said, I think I was looking at more of the positivity that he was there for him and embracing him, and that they could be emotional and cry, and we don't see that a lot. So I think I was more focused and trying.
No.
I was literally crying myself. So
see,
I think
the problem for me was I was already caught up on the fact that he didn't know already that it was 100% certain.
Right. I get what you're saying.
I was caught up on that, and I was like, this is news to you, so you didn't reach out to your brother and see how they were doing, and you know what I'm saying? So the fact
I get what you're saying, because if it, and I can only relate it to me and you, but I could never imagine overhearing or slightly hearing something and not saying something to you or coming to.
I would have felt like if he was coming over to have a conversation with him, it would have been like, hey, I'm coming over to vent about things he already knows. Yeah, my brother's strong. He's going to be strong for me because I can't be strong. I got to be strong for Kimmi. So I need to go talk to my brother. I need to get this off my chest and, relieve some stuff. So I'm going to talk to my brother, and none of it is a shock to him. You know what I'm saying? And let him know how I'm feeling, an update on Kimmi or whatever. But just the fact that the news was new to Marsau, I was just like, so I guess that's why I couldn't fully grasp everything that you did, because I was just hung up on that part. I was like,
no, and that makes a lot of sense. That does. So basically Marsau lets him know. Well, obviously he lets him know that Tisha did tell him but it sounded a little bit more uncertain to him. Marsau asks how Kimmi is doing, and he says that, Maurice lets him know she's been okay, considering the circumstances, but he's been tasked with telling everyone, as she doesn't want to constantly relive it. So he says it's hard not to think about the mortality of it all. And, he just got married. This is what killed me. This is when I started to he was like, he feels as soon as he got something to hold on to, it's being snatched from him. He talks about how when Kimmi left her job at nursing, that he had pushed her to do so. And there was a change of insurance, and she put off her mammograms and, kind of slipped her mind, forgot about it. And now this is what happened. So he feels low-key guilty. And he feels like if he wasn't pushing her to do real estate, they may have caught this sooner. So Marsau tells him not to put that on himself. He has to tell him, he can't tell her. And Marsau encourages him to block that out. And, says in the confessional that he can't allow his brother to go down this tunnel of blaming himself. He said, you don't see what is with it? And I'm sorry, because this is in my notes. What is it with you and fires, Marsau? You're giving me arsonists. Why is every analogy metaphor a fire and you setting fire to somebody's shit? It's very strange. I'm just saying. But Marsau says that, you don't see a fire and then ask who started it. You put it out first. So Maurice says he's trying to be strong in her presence, and he begins to cry and says he feels a way that he has no control. He feels that Kimmi acts as if nothing's even happening. And Marsau reminds him, well, that's because you're playing strong. You're both playing strong. She's doing it for you, just like you're doing it for her. And he tells him it's okay to feel how you feel and be authentic with her. So y'all both are not pretending for each other.
Basically to cry on each other's shoulders.
Right. He doesn't know if she needs to be real or be strong. Marsau tells him, be real. So Maurice shares in his confessional, being an entrepreneur his whole life, he has done things he thought was impossible. And I love this because everybody knows I'm a big manifester. And he's made it come to fruition. But this experience makes him feel humbled and mortal by everything going on. He says he needs God more than ever. And I was like, yes, we praying for you, trust me. Marsau lets him know he's there for him, and they both hug it out. And I'm not gonna lie, I just ended it. It was a beautiful moment because I was in full on tears at that point. I was right along with him. We could have just all hugged together because I was up there crying like a baby. But yeah, no, prayers up as always. We've been saying it every episode. Prayers up for Kimmi. I actually just saw she got through 1/3 of her chemo. I just saw it on Maurice posted about it. And she seems to be handling it well. I'm sure she has her days, but at least from what she's showing the public, she looks like she's doing really well. So yeah, y'all keep Kimmi in your prayers and let's keep her lifted up.
Yes. So back in Destin, they were able to take off. The clouds have cleared and the little kitties are happy. They're excited. They get to hit the water now. Miss Van expresses how happy she is that they could all be on this trip together. And Martell says,
and what Miss Marlene say when she came out? I'm sorry, go ahead. I'll wait. Because it just proves my point.
Okay, Martell says that most people expect it to just be the woman that's hurt, but he was hurt as well and saying messed up things, saying rude things, but they were able to invite each other out to places and both say yes, because of the children. Mel lets him know, look, it's yes as long as your behavior is in check. Boo-boo. Okay. And Martell says that he feels like, he's grown. He's not 100% healed from the divorce, but he's healed. And, there's a lot of things that happened with these jabs that he could have reacted to, and he didn't. Okay. And, look, Mel's like, what? What jabs?
What you talking about, Martell?
What I did? What? She acting oblivious and shit, She's like, on this trip, I did it. This, yeah. And they run the clips. Own runs the clips and shows that, yes, she was taking some jabs. And that's okay. I mean, she put in, what, 16 years or more with this man. And what they only been divorced what, 2? So I'm not saying that she has to be healed. I'm just saying I don't believe she's totally healed.
Well,
Because you ain't about to do that with one of your exes, are you?
we wouldn't be on a boat together. Let's start there. We're not going to be on a.
Well, that's because I mean she did it. I'm because they have kids. But
I could buy a water taxi ticket. Let my ex be on there. I'm getting off the boat.
guess what? Listen, this is why it didn't make sense to anyone else, because I mean, I don't want to say that means that she's not healed, because they're claiming that they're doing it for the kids, but she wanted him to see it. Yeah, I know,
absolutely.
I know you see me, and
I know
you see it. But guess what? I'm gonna give you a front row seat.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a front row seat. You see how you said you wouldn't even be on the boat? No, she wants him to have a front row seat.
Because at that point, I don't care what you think. I don't want to be around. Like, how is disturbing my peace? And now me having to bite my tongue peaceful for my child.
Trace, we saw the little downward dog shit she did on the beach. But you missing out on it.
No, okay. Well, hear me out. But I get okay. We get into that later in the episode. I'm gonna be quiet. Go ahead, finish.
I just felt like there's so many things that shows that she's not totally healed. She's definitely working on healing, but she's still angry. She's still mad. She's still,
absolutely.
And I feel like she's valid in what she feels. But
and I agree. Yeah.
Miss Van basically lets them know, look, damn all that. Just make sure y'all continue to respect each other. Damn the jabs, all that stuff. Just keep it cordial. Okay. Now Miss Marlene comes out to join them. And Melody catches her up on what they were discussing. What you want to say about Miss Marlene?
No, Miss Marlene came out, and when they tried to bring up, they said, oh, they tried to put her on blast. Martell was like, oh, Mel, we talking about Mel, keep taking jab, try to run and tell his mama. And Marlene said, I don't want to hear that. Okay. As long as these babies is happy, these drinks is poured.
Did she say
we keep doing these nice things?
She did not say that.
That's basically what she said. That's basically what she said.
You're gonna turn this lady into a lush. Oh my God.
Why do you think Martell can't fulfill his wine orders? Where is the warehouse?
Margarita Marlene, huh? You so stupid. And she tells him that she's proud of him with the progress that he's made. Miss Van is proud of him as well, because she says,
oh,
might have been a year ago, sir, you would have went ballistic.
Right.
Okay. Miss Marlene said, she's sipping right now. So everybody get along and do what it do.
What did I say? As long as she got her beverage.
She said, I'm sipping right now. Look, y'all just get along. Okay. Don't mess up my good time. Mel asked her, growing up, did they discuss things as a family, or did they brush them under the rug? And she says, her life was totally different than hers. She worked 2 jobs. So while she was at work, they had to do what they were supposed to do. And if, they got in trouble, basically, she would whoop that ass. She was that trick. Mel asked her how she dealt with them emotionally. Basically, she like, I ain't asked you all that. She said, how'd you deal with them emotionally? And brings up Martell, saying that I guess he was bullied in school at some point. And Miss Marlene says that we ain't doing all that whining and stuff, all them whining and things. And Melody's like, hold up. She don't consider whining, especially not when it's a kid. They kind of go back and forth a little bit about that. I think Mel was kind of coming for her parenting a little bit.
No, I don't even think she was coming. I think that Marlene set herself up. I mean, Marlene feels how she feels, but that's how she feels. Like, you see, she was like, no, I'm standing in my shit. That's whining to me.
But she always does. She stands in her shit.
And I'm gonna say, in Miss Marlene's defense, I'm sure my grandmother felt the same way. I think that is at least in my opinion, I think that that is, correct me if I'm wrong, Shade Squad. I'm not trying to generalize, but I had a very Southern grandma. And I think that is just a Southern mentality that like you get over stuff. Like it wasn't, if you needed to be babied, you would, but it wasn't, nobody had time to coddle you for everything. There was too much going on.
So I think where Mel was going was, so apparently, I guess, Martell was bullied when he was a kid. I think bullying is totally different now.
Oh
And
yeah, bullying
yeah,
is
and
totally
kids,
different now.
yeah, she was talking about bullying. So I guess maybe she was talking about having conversations with your children, like asking her how she dealt with it. And she was just like, I worked 2 jobs and
I didn't have
it,
time to deal with
yeah,
it.
I didn't have time. They just kind of,
And to your point, and I'm not going to say thank God, but it wasn't in today's age, because in today's age, her being so busy might have ended up in something really fucked up for her
because kids are
son.
finding other ways to deal with being
Right,
bullied.
right. So,
And I think that's why she was.
thank God it was just a different age and time. But I say that PSA people, I understand we're going back and forth about this gentle parenting thing. Okay, gentle parenting is one thing. Do whatever you want with your kids, but at least talk to them. At least talk to them. At least do that much.
I think where Mel disagreed was when she brought up like the whining thing. Like it's
Right.
not whining. It's we need to have conversations basically. Um and Mel feels that basically the way um Martell was raised explains a lot.
Why he can't
Based off
communicate.
his communicating style. And Miss Marlene says the great thing is that their kids, Mel and Martell have both of their parents versus her being a single mom. And she says that she would have gave anything to have her kids' dad around. And says that, Mel is like, well, wasn't your mom there? And she's like, yeah, but I didn't push my kids off on my mom. Like, it's not like they were in the household. And I get where she was coming from with that. She's like, yeah, she was a help, but it's not the
But it
same as
wasn't,
having
yeah.
both parents. So Martell basically says that, he hopes that they can stay like this in this good space. And, Messy Mel, she's like, well, I mean, as long as, you ain't messy, you don't cause no issues. She's like, I'm gonna go
Right.
check and get shit. Her ass hurried up, got up, and she said, I'm gonna go check on the kids. He like, see, and this is the shit I gotta take. I gotta overlook every damn thing. Yes, sir.
Absolutely, because you fucked up.
You did.
Yeah.
You do. Yes, you do.
So then they apparently, after they get off the yacht, they decide to go out to dinner as a family. Here we go again. I think I prefaced this last review. I do not like things forced on me. I don't give if you think it's romantic. I don't like things forced on me. So Martell proceeds to apparently
What? Maybe it was a surprise.
no, that's forced.
That's for surprise. Surprises are forestries.
When you know I don't want it, that's forced. Surprise is maybe she'll be like, you have the
Like
expectation.
you're doing it for me,
Right.
not
Yeah.
for your own benefit.
Right. So Martell has got him and Mel a separate table from the rest of the family so they could have a private conversation. Now, Mel isn't clear why he feels this is a good time to have a conversation. Martell says in confessional, he just wants Mel to know that they're good and he just wants to move forward. Mel says she lost her appetite, okay, and hopes this isn't one of his attempts to reconcile.
Because keep in mind, she before they even went on the ship, she's like, I do not plan on having no serious conversations with this
Right.
man. And here we
So
go.
she's like, all right, you done pulled me away from the whole family, the whole table. Let's get to it. So he's like, he brings up how he used to bash her for not doing certain things in the marriage and admits that he was a bit childish. She asked if he's talking about, head, because she's heard that too many times and she's over it. So he lets her know that no, it's not about that. Um, and he started to wonder why she wasn't doing certain things, which we did hear him talk about before. He realizes he should have been questioning himself. Mel asked him, well, did I ever give you head? Let's just say that on record. Did I ever give you head? And he's like, of course you did. And she's like, okay, let's just
What
get
I
it.
don't think what I don't think guys understand is whether you're doing something or not, right? If you give us the inkling that you're doing something, or you move in different where we think you could possibly be doing something, why do we want to put our mouths where
Right,
possibly
we'll snatch
somebody
it.
else's coochie been? Like, for real.
I hear you.
You want to go down there if you think somebody else was knocking this down?
Right. So he wants to move away from that. And, she said, so, and so she's like, oh, so you don't want to know. Okay. So Mel says in confessional, she's not here for this. All right. And that if Martell needs to get something off his chest, he needs to call Dr. Francis. But doing this and trying to vent to her on her vacation is not what she signed up for. Now he says, he wants to move forward, and there's no negativity on his side. And he asked her, how has the trip been for you? And she says it's been fine overall, but she wasn't expecting him to invite other people to come by. She admits she felt it was inappropriate, and Martell doesn't see anything wrong with it, of course. And Mel lets him know, I had a good time before they got here, and I had a good time after they left. They
Him
were
being here did not change anything.
right. So then he tells Mel to hush. Okay. And she says, nope, I'm gonna say everything that's on my mind. So Martell seems confused, and she lets him know, basically, Mel says she has no desire to try to pretend to be friends with people who've worked to bring her down. And that basically, Martell, you were the ringleader of this whole shit. And let's team up against Mel. So she's like, just own it. Just own it. And he's like, Mel, please stop the negativity, Mel. Please stop. And Mel feels like Martell is gaslighting her. So she said, the conversation is bringing out this other side of Mel, which she's trying to put to the back. So Mel, is like, they both realize the conversation is not going the way they needed to go. And so Martell is like, let me try to reel it back in. So Mel brings up the conversation earlier with his mom and about him being bullied. And talks about how even their experiences growing up, their children are going through something that they both have never went through. She's just saying this is a big transition for their kids, and
and it's not something that they know how to navigate themselves, so they should possibly get some help with that.
Right. So then she recommends or suggests, maybe they should take parenting classes, which Martell surprisingly is very open to. He says that he is willing to do anything to aid in the growth of them moving forward. Martell lets her know that he's apologetic for everything that he's put her through. And Mel questions, well, what's different this time than any other time you apologize? And he realizes when he apologized before, he wasn't even sure why he was apologizing. Now he doesn't need to blame her and can take 100% accountability for his actions. He apologizes, and she lets him know that she receives it. So she says in confessional that her and Martell started off as friends, and she hopes that they can get back to that without attitude, although the romance is gone. But she hopes that the friendship piece can still be there. So, yeah.
So then it looks like it's like the next day, I guess, like the day that, they're leaving.
Out. Yeah.
Mel, she's chilling out on the balcony. It looks so beautiful. It looks like so calm, so peaceful. And then Martell decides to bring his ass outside.
Talk about serenity. And
right. I know, she was like, nigga, what you want? I'm trying to get it in before I leave this
he
place.
come out there in his hoochie daddy shorts.
She actually joked a little bit about his outfit and how his jacket was up. She was like, oh, you're gonna be making some coins on your way back home, on your ride back. You're gonna have them ladies paying you. He actually zipped it up for a second, like, okay, look, he cares. He cares what she thinks. But she lets him know that the trip has been great and everybody seems to have enjoyed it. And she was shocked last night that, he got a separate table from everybody else. And says, that's something we really don't do. So, but Martell is like, well, we really also don't do vacations together.
Right.
I said,
if you give it, if I give it a little, you gonna give a little. I said, oh.
She like, sir, let me finish what the hell I'm saying. Okay, let me get it out. All right. The hell. And she let him know that in order for them to move forward in a positive manner, there's no need to like dwell or rehash the past with the woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Okay.
Basically, just, we just gonna
Just
leave
be
that where it's
cool.
at
Just be cool, brother.
and move forward. And he agrees. But in the confessional, he does say that he wanted her to open up and let him know where he went wrong before the cheating happened in the past, so that when he moves forward and has a future relationship, he knows what not to do.
So now you got me thinking I'm about to prep you for the next.
Damn all that. Why do you need to have her tell you what you did wrong before the cheating? Sir, listen, my thing is this. What you did wrong was the cheating. So even if emotionally you messed up or whatever the case may be, guess what? You can come back from that. Okay. You can have conversation. Marriage works in cycles. Okay. It ain't gonna always be amazing and always be great. So whatever issues y'all were going through before the cheating happened, sir, you stick it out. That's what you didn't do. Okay. Maybe that's what she should. You didn't stick it out. Okay. And try to work it out and wait for things to get better. Okay. That's where you messed up. And then you decided to cheat and think you was gonna get something better. Instead, you got coleslaw and you left the steak. Okay.
You left the tomahawk for the mashed potatoes.
No, I like mashed potatoes. Coleslaw is nasty to me.
Oh, well, yeah, coleslaw.
Mel let him know that she could see them both in very serious, positive relationships, and wants them both to respect each other, when it comes to that as well. And we know that he agrees because he actually brought it up with his mama before. He also thanks her for letting him come on the trip, and for apparently she's letting him take the kids during her week to a book signing at the Essence. And she's like, you know what? It's cool. Like, it's not a big deal. Basically, as long as we continue in this space, as long as we respect each other, respect each other's boundaries, it's never going to be an issue. And, he says that he believes that they'll continue to be in a good space, but they both have, to overlook some triggers. And they both agreed because, both of them was hitting on some triggers this entire time.
Yes, they
and
were.
basically, yes, he did thank her for inviting him on a trip with his mom as well. And, says that they both enjoyed their free endless drink time. Okay.
I'll drink to that, Miss Merlin.
Well, I ain't got nothing.
All right. Well, thank you guys.
Yes, thank you.
For tuning in to another review of Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 5, Episode 13. If you have not already, please make sure that you have hit that like button.
You comment.
You are subscribed.
And you hit the notification bell.
And please make sure that you're following us on all the platforms, the Facebook, the Twitter, the IG, the TikTok. We'll catch y'all next week for another episode. Have a good night.
Good night.